إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستغفره ونستعينه ونستهديه ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله وصفيه من خلقه وخليله اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا وحبيبنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. عباد الله، أوصيكم ونفسي المقصرة أولا بتقوى الله، فاتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. ثم أما بعد. All praises are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most gracious and the most merciful. The best of his peace and blessing shall be bestowed upon his beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and upon those that follow his footsteps. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, our khutbah today I tried my best in it, insha'Allah, to give you a set of tips, in particular 5, to insha'Allah help you in managing your life in Canada. That's a big statement. What I mean exactly is, I called it 5 steps to succeed as a Muslim in Canada. 5 steps to succeed as a Muslim in Canada. And what do I mean by this? Success, as we always heard and said, learned from our DEEN, is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to attain. Falah wa najah, success in dunya and akhirah. It's all about success and prosperity and development. Now, unfortunately, we've seen many examples of Muslims living as minorities. So this applies to Muslims living in minority groups. We've seen a lot of Muslims reaching success, and the price is their deen. This is why we said succeed as a Muslim. Can we combine success and our identity and our deen? Can we keep them both? Can we reach both and preserve both and attain both and hold on to both, being successful and being a Muslim? Or do we have to give up our deen for us to become successful? Now, alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, there are also great examples of successful Muslims. And there are examples of successful people that are just Muslims by name. If they did not denounce clearly that they're not Muslims or don't belong to, as you hear some Muslim figures, they would clearly say on TV, I do not believe, I'm an agnostic, I don't follow. Why are they saying this? You hear that from some comedians, some academics, famous ones. Because thinking and believing if they follow and they belong and they adhere to, it might interfere with their success. And it's true in some cases. But to keep it simple, we need to be successful Muslims, or successful and Muslims. At the same time, success has to be qareen lil-Islam, lil-Deen. How can we be successful Muslims in minorities? Let's explore 5 steps, inshallah. We'll find them all beneficial to all of us. Step number 1. As a Muslim living in a minority, you need to know your surroundings. What do I mean by this? People immigrate to a new country. They don't want to know anything about the country. They stay between 4 walls. This is my work, this is my home, this is my masjid, and it's done. This is not appropriate. This will not help you succeed. You need to know the country. You need to know the history. You need to know the customs. You need to know the people. You need to know geography. Because this is your country now. You need to know your country. If you don't know your country, you will not know how to deal with many, many things. You do not know how to deal with its people that hosted you. So being ignorant about your surroundings, unfortunately, seems to be prevalent in many of our community members. Maybe they don't care to know. Maybe they're busy with the settlement, and it's understandable. But please, an advice to each and every one of you, and make sure that our kids also, although they go to school and they get exposed to things, but we need to know our surroundings. We need to know, first of all, that we're living in a country that has human beings. That might sound silly. But the mentality of a person that joins a group that's completely different, they might forget that they're dealing with humans, just like you. They work hard to feed their kids, to have a good life, and to protect their families. We're all the same. Knowing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Isra, وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has dignified all human beings. So we're dealing with human beings that are dignified by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We need to know them. We need to interact with them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also said in Surah Al-Hujarat, يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسِ إِنَّا خَلَقْنَاكُم مِّن ذَكَرٍ وَأُنثَى وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا. Another invitation and order from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that when you are amongst different tribes and nations, you need to get to know one another. You can't be ignorant about your surroundings. You need to know people. Why? Because when we interact, we learn from one another. First of all, we explore the goods that each group has, because not everything outside of our circle is bad. Some people live under that perception that if they're different, they're completely bad. And that's wrong, my dear brothers and sisters. There are goods. There are a lot of goods around us. And if we don't interact and get to know people, we miss out on the goods that they have, and they miss out on the goods that we have. We have Islam, we have akhlaq, we have great values we want to share with others. If we don't get to know our surroundings, we will miss that opportunity, and wallahi, we will be questioned. Because it's a responsibility to exchange the goods that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us. Point number 2. Do not isolate yourself from your community. Again, a lot of new immigrants, maybe that was an old mentality, but I remember many, many years ago, when you immigrate, the first advice is, do not associate with your community. SubhanAllah. Really, I was given that advice. Do not associate with your community. Very destructive advice. Very wrong and bad advice. You need to know your community. Because in a setting of diversity, got different communities. The arrangement is different in such countries. It's a country of minorities, a country of groups, a country of associations. You need to belong to a community. You can't withstand the challenges on your own. You need to know it 100%. You cannot do it on your own. Don't even try it. Do not isolate yourself from your community. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us, وَاصْبِرْ نَفْسَكَ مَعَ الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَدَاةِ وَالْعَاشِيِّ يُرِيدُونَ وَجْهَهُ وَلَا تَعْدُ عَيْنَاكَ عَنْهُمْ تُرِيدُ زِينَةَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَلَا تُطِعْ مَنْ أَغْفَلْنَا قَلْبَهُ عَنْ ذِكْرِنَا وَاتَّبَعَ هَوَاهُ وَكَانَ أَمْرُهُ فُرُطًا. Be patient and join the group. The advice is clear. Be patient. Because joining the group, there are some things that you might not like about others, but it's for your own good and your own protection and your children's. Join the group, the ones that pray the day and the night, the ones that are focused on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the group that's focused on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, stick with them. وَلَا تَعْدُ عَيْنَاكَ عَنْهُمْ تُرِيدُ زِينَةَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. Do not even turn your face away from them, seeking the pleasure of the dunya. This is how vital and important this step is for your success as a Muslim. Success as a Muslim. Do not isolate yourself as a person from your group. Participate in the events. Do whatever you can to enlarge and grow and empower and strengthen your community. It's a step in your success. Second part to this, do not isolate yourself, is do not isolate yourself from your society. As an individual and as a community, we don't want ghettos. We're part of this great country. We need to associate with people outside of our community. We need to get to know them. Because whether we like it or not, we're going to deal with them. It is important for us to deal with them. Co-workers, classmates, neighbors. There is a weird idea that also was around for a long time, is if they're not Muslims, we don't want to deal with them because, they're different. This is the way to protect my deen. No, my dear brothers and sisters. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in the Holy Quran, in Surah Al-Mumtahina, لا ينهاكم الله عن الذين لم يقاتلوكم في الدين ولم يخرجوكم من دياركم أن تبروهم وتقسطوا إليهم إن الله يحب المقسطين. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us clearly in the Holy Quran, clear advice. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not prevent you from doing what? Does not prevent you from exercising bir and qist. Al-bir, very, very big word that we only hear with parents, bir al-walidain. Al-bir is a very high degree of kindness, respect. Al-bir, كما وصفه رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, as described in the hadith, البر حسن الخلق, the best of manners. Exercise the best of manners. Kindness, help, assistance. And al-qist, being just, being fair. To whom? Just to Muslims? No. الذين لم يقاتلوكم في الدين ولم يخرجوكم من دياركم. The ones that do not threaten your deen. The ones that do not drive you out of your homes. And we do live in a society where people, based on this arrangement, nobody's driving you out of your home. Nobody is threatening your deen. Or is it true? This is the condition, my dear brothers and sisters. Indeed, we can befriend anybody. Anybody who is fair and kind. Anybody that cares about humanity. Anybody that respects others. But we have to defend ourselves from those that threaten our deen. So this is the condition in any kind of human association for you as a Muslim. Very clear in the Holy Quran. You're choosing your friends. It's best to choose the ones that are closest to you and have a lot of common with you. Absolutely. But can you befriend others? Can you be kind to your co-workers? Absolutely. Under one condition. They do not threaten your deen. And this is a very important advice for our children. When they say, such and such is my friend. You parents, pay attention. Your friend, the friends of your children have to be filtered through this ayah. threaten your deen. So you see your children having friends of other faith, other cultures, other ideologies, and then you realize the influence on your children that their deen is decreasing. They don't want to perform salah anymore, they want to do this, they want to do that. Why don't we do this? Why don't they start, slipping away? Then their deen is being threatened. And it's a fair game. It's a fair statement. But some kids and some people, not just children, it applies to all of us at all ages. We are al-mar'u ala dini khalili. You follow the way of life of the person that you adore, the person that you love. And it's normal. This is human nature. So if you as a Muslim have strong personality and know your deen very well, and you know that your deen will not be threatened, by all means. Because the idea here is to protect the way of life and to protect the deen. It's not to become friends with anybody. So the condition is clear. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to exercise justice, kindness, best of manners, assistance, whatever we can do to all of our surroundings, irrespective of their religion, because we live together here as citizens. But protect your deen. Point number 3. So we said, know your surroundings, know the people, know everything around you, because you need to become part of this society. We said, do not isolate yourself from your community, and do not isolate yourself from society. Engage, make friends, get to know people. Point number 3. Before I move to point number 3, I remembered a very important story that I always tell people. When I first worked in a company in Guelph, I was the only different person. All of them, about 60 employees, they were from a European background. I was different. I was still very young. Very kind people, very nice people. I had the fear of how am I going to deal with others and protect my deen. But alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helped me. One comment I want to tell you that I heard from one of my good friends that I met at that company. We're still friends. We go out for lunches. We meet once a while. We keep very good relationship. He told me, I want to ask you a question after knowing them for a few months. He goes, why are you a happy Muslim? And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, seriously, I'm serious. Why are you a happy Muslim? He goes, because I have Muslim neighbors. I've known them for a year. They never smile. And when you never smile, you make people uncomfortable. Then at least, you make people uncomfortable. So it's like the Muslims that I know, they don't smile. That's bad, my dear brothers and sisters. Wallahi, that's bad. Alayhi salam said, "Tabassumuka fi wajhi akhika sadaq." Smile. It's a charity. Your brother in humanity, your brother in deen, your brother, your sister, smile. Let people know that you're peaceful. When you're frowning all the time, you don't know what's cooking in there. You know, I'm watching the news and all of a sudden this guy is planting a bomb in my backyard. I don't know. He doesn't say hello, he doesn't say good morning. This is reality, my dear brothers. This is what we live in. Especially the generation of, first generation immigrants like myself. Maybe our children, alhamdulillah, they changed a bit. But we all need to exercise. There's still more new immigrants that are coming. We need to be careful about these things. There are human beings out there that deserve respect. Point number 3. Collaboration on issues of justice. Extremely important point. don't just know them and become friends with them, with everybody around us. We need to work with people. We need to collaborate on important issues like justice. Rasulullah ﷺ collaborated with everybody in Medina and collaborated with the mushrikeen in Mecca prior to Islam in a very famous collaboration called Hilf al-Fudul that we all know about. In a famous hadith, Rasul ﷺ said, لقد شهدت في دار عبد الله بن جدعان حلفا ما أحب أن لي به حمر النعم. Look at the description. He's saying, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, that he's witnessed in the house of Abdullah ibn Jad'an an alliance, a collaboration amongst people, an alliance that I will not give up for what we say millions of dollars. I will not give up for the wealth and the treasures of earth. Just that collaboration is more important to Rasulullah ﷺ than everything. What is that alliance? And he also said, وَلَوْ دُعِيتُ إِلَى مِثْلِهِ فِي الْإِسْلَامِ لَأَجَبْتُ. And if I would be called to this alliance during Islam, being a Prophet ﷺ, I would accept alliance with mushrikeen. Yes, that's what he says. What is this alliance? To uphold and protect justice. The alliance was anybody in Mecca who will be wronged and his right will be stripped away, they will all get together to help that person. Protect human rights. Protect justice for all. This is what Rasulullah is doing. Well, that's what he did. That's what he taught us. We need to work with each other. Another form of this work is elections. Elections have been going through many filters. People saying halal and haram and do's and don'ts and this. What is elections? What is voting? It's an alliance to support justice, because when we go out there and see who's willing to support justice, we support them. You're literally installing them, appointing them. This is your participation in supporting justice. Who's supporting justice? Stand strong and support them. Whatever they need as a community, we need to participate in elections. We need to vote. We need to get into this alliance of justice, because if we turn away from it, it might turn into alliance of injustice. And it happened. Because the people of justice are sleeping. Whether it's us or anybody else, when we boycott and do not participate, it might turn into alliance of injustice. So we've created that alliance of injustice. But by participating, inshallah, everybody participates from all communities to protect justice for all, it becomes Hilf al-Fudul. Collaboration is extremely important, but there's also a condition. Islam is highly regulated. The condition is لا للمداهنة, without giving in and jeopardizing our principles. Period. We work with others, but by protecting our principles. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَدُّوا لَوْ تُدْهِنُوا فَيُدْهِنُونَ. Same thing happened to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in other alliances that he was called for. He was indeed called to join the group of statements, if you will, the rulers of Quraysh. Majlis, the council of rulership, the governing council of Quraysh. During the early stage, the early time of his prophethood, he was called in to join. But they said, listen, oh Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you know, your deen is spreading and it's causing us a lot of headaches. You know what, how about you join us? and we will apply your principles one day and our principles another day. We'll rotate. We'll use your Islam as part of our system, but we don't want to follow Islam 100%. How about we do that? Great idea for an alliance that puts Muhammad ﷺ in a leadership position, in an influential position. So, look at the lesson here. Is the goal for us to reach that leadership position? Or is the goal for us to protect Islam? He refused. He said, in the famous hadith talking to his uncle Abu Talib when he was asked to deliver the message to him, he said, Ya Am, O uncle, Wallahi la wad'u ash-shamsa fi yamini والقمر في يساري على أن أترك هذا الأمر حتى يظهره الله أو على أن أترك هذا الأمر حتى يظهره الله أو أهلك فيه ما تركته. Different story, but all falls in the same meaning. He said, I will never leave this. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told them, they would love for you to give in a bit so they can give in a little more. Our goal is not to reach a certain level or status, or be doctor this, or be statement that, or be MP this, or be MP that. That's not the goal. The goal is to participate in any group that will give justice to everybody, and the justice that we're looking for is to protect our deen. This is the justice. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to do. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لكم فاستغفروه فيا فوز المستغفر. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. We finished 3 points, and we report number 4. Point number 4, simple and easy, but extremely important. Do not trespass. Do not trespass. Obey rules. Obey regulations. Obey laws. Be a law-abiding citizen. Do not beat around the bush. Do not bend and twist things. Work all you can do within the allowed space. There are laws that you can work with, there are things, but do not just deliberately go and break laws. Don't do that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَأَوْفُوا بِالْعَهْدِ إِنَّ الْعَهْدَ كَانَ مَسْئُولًا. It's ahd. It's part of your citizenship to have wafa, loyalty to the country, to respect rules, laws, and regulations. On security levels, on, traffic laws, on everything around us. We need to adhere to it religiously. We make mistakes. We all make mistakes. But don't make it your goal to always break rules and to bend laws. As a matter of fact, be the complete opposite. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ الْمُعْتَدِينَ. This is a transgression. When you break laws, you're harming everybody around you. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala لَا يُحِبُّ الْمُعْتَدِينَ. Also in Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, الَّذِينَ يَنْقُضُونَ عَهْدَ اللَّهِ مِنْ بَعْدِ مِيثَاقِهِ وَيَقْطَعُونَ مَا أَمَرَ اللَّهُ بِهِ أَنْ يُوصَلَ وَيُفْسِدُونَ فِي الْأَرْضِ أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْخَاسِرُونَ. The ones that keep breaking the laws and the rules and the ahd and the covenants, these are the ones that are the losers. The losers. Adhere to the laws and regulations, respect law, be a law-abiding citizen. It's extremely important for your success as a Muslim. And the last one we end with, which probably is the most important advice and step, that everything that we mentioned hinges on it. It's the pivotal point. Know your deen. Know your deen. Some people live their life with when they come from a Muslim majority country, they live their life with not knowing much because they can get by with the flow. When you come here, you realize it doesn't work. You need to know your deen. You need to know everything related to your daily activities. Halal, haram, mortgage, second, eating, clothing, a lot of things you need to know. You need to give it some good amount of time and attention for you and your children. You don't know it, you lose it. Simple and easy. You need to know it so you can live it. Because not everybody around you is living it. When the whole group is living it, it's easy. You wake up, it's Ramadan, the whole country is fasting, it's easy. You wake up here, it's Ramadan, you go to work, you're the only ones not eating, it's not easy. If you don't know much about it, or you don't know why, or you don't have it in your heart, you might lose it. Same thing happens to our children. Know your deen. Know your deen, know the teachings of your deen. But there's another important point for knowing your deen. There are many groups out there that claim to be Muslims or belong to Islam. We know, Allah told us that there will be 70-some groups that will claim to be Muslims. This is a very important point of our deen that we need to know when we live in a multicultural society. Maybe some of us came from countries, majority of one sect. We don't know anything else. We don't know someone else exists that claimed to be Muslim who's not a Muslim. Because at one point they were Muslims, but then they started changing their belief. It's up to them. I'm not here condemning them. I'm not here undermining their beliefs. But I'm here protecting the principles of Islam. Some people are hyphenated Muslims. Such Muslim. Kada Muslim. I don't know what Muslim. Well, we need to know, and our children need to know, that they have different set of beliefs. They're not Muslims. Now, unfortunately, some of them, they do it deliberately to lead our generations astray. Some of them. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned them in the Holy Quran, where He said in Surah Al-Baqarah, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَن يَقُولُ آمَنَّا بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ وَمَا هُمْ بِمُؤْمِنِينَ يُخَادِعُونَ اللَّهَ وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَمَا يَخْدَعُونَ إِلَّا أَنفُسَهُمْ وَمَا يَشْعُرُونَ فِي قُلُوبِهِم مَرَضٌ فَزَادَهُمُ اللَّهُ مَرَضًا وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ بِمَا كَانُوا يَكْذِبُونَ. They're lying to us. They appear in our events saying we're Muslims, and then all of a sudden they act differently and our kids get confused. It's happening everywhere, my dear brothers and sisters. In a multicultural society, you see everybody. And I advise you, in the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to be aware of this. And advise you to open your eyes and know al-milal wal-nihal, know who belongs to Islam, who doesn't belong to. Not because we want to be hostile against them or reject them. No. Just because we want to protect our deen and our children. These 5 advices, my dear brothers and sisters, inshallah, you apply them, live by them, and bi-idhnillah ta'ala, we'll all be successful Muslims as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would wish for us and would love for us. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to enlighten our hearts and enlighten our minds. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to teach us our deen and help us apply it. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us and bless our children. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us from all the fitan, ما ظهر منها وما بطن. اللهم احفظنا من كل الفتن ما ظهر منها وما بطن. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help all the weak ones across the globe, our brothers and sisters that are suffering everywhere. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to alleviate their pain. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to shower us with His mercy and barakah. Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik sayyidina Muhammad wa ala sahbihi ajma'in. Allah ya'murukum bil 'adli wal ihsani wa ita'i dhil qurba wa yanha 'anil fahsha'i wal munkari wal baghi ya'idhukum la'allakum tadhakkarun. Fadhkuru Allah yadhkurkum wastaghfiruhu yaghfir lakum wallahu ya'lamu ma tasna'un.